What's going on, guys? So I'm here today and I wanted to bring a bit of a kind of a rundown of every operator in the game and kind of class them into what they're kind of best used for, you know, in a way. I don't want to go too in depth towards like running kind of pro league comps and like how you would play them in professional play. I kind of want to take a moment to step back and bring in some of the kind of new players that are coming into the game a lot and kind of put each character into their essential role, if you will, without going too in depth. Because I know when you're starting this game, it can be very overwhelming. Right now we have over 50 operators and it's like, where do I start? Who do I pick? What do I play? So I kind of want to try and help the newcomer and give them a good idea of where they might want to start working into. As we go on, obviously we can kind of progress into strategies and where that will eventually kind of lead into. For now, we're just going to stick with their general roles. So I did kind of compare with the official Ubisoft website. They show kind of what types there are, but I didn't quite agree with some of what they said, and I kind of added a few where I thought, you know, actually I think this could be used here. So without further ado, let's just start getting into it. So first off, we're going to start with Hard Breachers, as they are my favorite role, and we're just going to give them a little orange mark because some of these roles will overlap with each other, so it can kind of get a little bit complicated if I start squaring out things. So we got our Thermite, we've got our Habana, you can't really see that, we've got our Maverick, and we've also got our new operator coming out as we're literally about 2 weeks away from the actual launch, so I will include him in this. So they're going to be your main kind of Hard Breachers, and you're going to always want to take one of these boys when you're coming into any map. Generally, except there's a few exceptions, I generally don't take Hard Breach on Coastline, but that's for more of a actual map breakdown later on. So yeah, as I said, Hard Breachers are your bread and butter. These are the guys that are going to help you open up sites, get into sites, and you know, they're essentially the most important. They'll be the ones who always take the diffuser, and you know, they just don't get spawn peeked is my main kind of tip for that. Going on next, we've got my second favorite role to be playing, and it's our Soft Breachers. So these are the boys who are going to help open up kind of some of the sites. You know, they're essentially going to do a bit of remodeling, redecorating of the enemy's defense, and pretty much just their main job is to just disrupt where the enemies are sitting in their positions. You know, some operators can kind of do that, say the likes of, you take Jackal, he might be able to do a bit with his pocket shotgun, same as Gridlock. I wouldn't mainly put them there, but they can partake in such a thing. But in terms of your actual main ones, it will be generally Sledge, Buck, Ash and Zofia. They're the ones that kind of, their gadgets are designed around that, obviously. Depending on where you're kind of attacking, say it's a site where, you know, you're going to be attacking from below, then obviously you're not going to want to take Sledge. You're going to want to take Buck. Zofia can kind of do a bit above and below, you know, if you take breach charges with her. But essentially your main kind of boys will be between Sledge and Buck, and then Ash kind of, she only has 2 charges, and generally it's more of just going to be for going for them frags with a little bit of soft breach. Moving on, next we're going to have the assistants to your Thermites and your Habanas. It's going to be our Disablers, are the people that are going to help get rid of gadgets. You know, they'll essentially be the ones that are going to assist with opening up the walls. They might take the diffuser, maybe, depending, either of them or the actual Heart Breacher, be the ones taking the diffuser. I'm going to add an interesting one here that people probably aren't expecting, but Fuse is actually really good at getting rid of gadgets. If you're using him for getting rid of gadgets and not for getting kills, because just the absolute room clearance and destroying of gadgets he can do is actually insane. And technically, I guess you can put IQ on there. You know, she has the ability to see the gadgets, not always the ability to get rid of them, but at least to provide the intel. Next, we're going to bring our anti-roamers. So these are the people that are going to try and help flush out any sort of roamers or cover your ass while you're making your push and going in for your flanks, so covering the flanks and whatnot. So obviously Jackal, literally feet sniffer, roamer looker. We've also got the likes of Dokkaebi, who is going to be able to call out defenders. You know, you'll give you those sound cues if you're hunting them down. We've got the likes of Lion, who basically makes you stop hammer time for a hot second. And we've got Nomad, who's going to help with stopping them runouts. We've got the likes of Gridlock, who's going to kind of stop those flanks. You know, those track stingers, trying to get rid of them is an absolute pain, and they essentially just shut down an entire area of the map. And also probably a little bit of a question one, Blitz, because I was struggling to try and find where I'd put Blitz in. But honestly, I think he does go into the anti-roam category, because, you know, he's really good in, you know, 1v1 situations where there's no assistance to try and help, and you can just really feck your day up. And especially for new players, not knowing how to deal with him can be an absolute pain pain. So next we're going to go on to some crowd control, which is also kind of where I struggle to try and put Ying. So I was like, what can I kind of classify her as? And yeah, crowd control definitely, you know, blinding the entire objective, or, you know, wherever you're attacking. Sophia, again, as I said, there's going to be overlaps. She has her little concussions. You know, the Grismot basically stun and kind of daze the defenders. Line as well also goes into that because it makes everybody stop and not move, and if they move they get pinged. Blitz again also falling into that kind of crowd control thing. Any kind of shields definitely fall into crowd control, such as Monty as well. You know, they just help they push people out of their positions and make them kind of feel uncomfortable, and that's generally the whole thing of crowd control. Again, Gridlock, being able to shut down entire areas just with one track stinger. And then also again, Nomad as well. If you can have those air jobs kind of hidden in a place, it means the enemy just aren't going to push it. You know, they don't want to kind of risk it. And last but not least, for crowd control, we have Capitao, again, just with his firebolts, just been able to shut off people coming back in. Kind of counts with anti-roam if you know you want to, you know, you've planted the diffuser and roamers are coming back or whatever, just shut down a complete area. So now we're going to go into intel gathering and also intel denial. So I actually put Monty into this because he's able to just completely face check anything. He's just going to walk around the corner, the enemy are going to see him, you know, he's going to see them, and he's just going to be able to provide that information to his team that most people aren't. You know, you could drone, but the drone could instantly be shot, it could be denied to even enter the area. He just walks in, doesn't give an absolute crap what the enemy think. It's again where IQ falls in, able to gather intel, tell you where gadgets are, find the bomb. You know, just so much intel IQ provides to the team. Diana coming in there, she's again, her ability is literally a human drone, so pretty self-explanatory. Fuse again with the intel denial, you know, he's just able to destroy so many gadgets, destroy cams, just do the whole lot with just a single fuse charge. It's actually so underrated. Thatcher being able to destroy the likes of cams, any sort of gadgets. Again, Twitch doing the same kind of thing, just being able to destroy cams, destroy anything that provides info to the enemy team. Dokubi gives you intel. If you get hold of the cams, you have all the enemy cams at your disposal. Again, just amazing amount of intel. Jackal, again, able to just sniff them feet, find out where the enemy are, you know, hunt down them roamers. Again, just intel for days. Nook comes under intel denial, just denying the enemy to be able to see where she is through the cams. Later on we'll go with the same kind of concept for Vigil. It's just denying the enemy any sort of intel to where you might be. Again, Lines also falling into this. You know, if the enemy decide to move, they get pinged. Like intel, at the end of the day, it's all about finding out where the enemy are and knowing where they are, and that's the key to victory. Something that I kind of questioned how to name it, but I ended up deciding in Overwatch are those characters that are pretty much just gonna hold down the angles, such as Blackbeard. You know, his main thing is pretty much sit there, kind of rappel on a window, hold an angle, especially seeing as the shields aren't that great anymore. Glass also falls onto that. Cali, you know, they're all just essentially snipers and people that kind of just hold angles and cover teams as they're making their pushes. Another interesting one I'm going to put in there is going to be flankers, just because I needed to find a role for a Maru, because God only knows what else she doesn't feel any other role than just flanking and getting around to places quickly. Also as well with that, you can put Nook, because you know she can come in from a different angle, flanking and avoiding all the cams, and they're pretty much the only ones I could really put in there. And last but not least, the only person who doesn't have a goddamn role is the one and only Finka. She's just provide a buff for your team, and that's pretty much it. Doesn't really do much else. So yeah, that's just a quick rundown of the attackers. So now we're going to go move on to the defenders. So starting off with the defenders, it's pretty much the biggest category that is kind of for defenders is intel. They're just defenders, and intel is just ridiculous. So starting off, we've got Pulse, got Valkyrie. There's Valkyrie. They're just cams everywhere, scanners from Pulse, just providing that intel for your team. We've got the likes of Echo with his invisible fucking pain in the ass cams that your plants and everything. We've got Mirror, because you can count her, you know, being able to looking out kind of side of sight, being able to use the mirrors to try and see where the enemy are kind of making their push. They're making it towards. We've got Lesion, who's just throwing down his ghouls, hearing them trigger. You know, they're invisible. Again, pain in the ass. Again, something kind of that I agreed with that Rainbow Six didn't agree with is putting Ella under intel. I agree putting her there because again, Grismot goes off, makes noise, gives you kind of a directional cue. It's all about the audio cues, man. Alibi, you know, if an enemy try to shoot a barricade or try to make any pre-fires, you know, again, just being able to provide that intel where people are coming from. Again, Maestro as well. Maestro just cams are the name of the game We've got Clash as well, just same thing as Monty, just been able to push in, abuse and slow down the attacking push no matter where it is. Ozzy as well, pretty self-explanatory, gets control of the attacker's drones, uses the attacker's drones against them, provides intel for his team. And we also got Melusi as well, just her little kind of wub machines going off, provides you intel where the enemies are pushing from. Now moving on to crowd control. Starting off straight away, we're going to go back to Melusi. Again, slowing down the attackers. This is all about slowing them down, stalling their push and trying to waste down as much time. Also going back onto Clash, just being able to electrify and slow down. Ella currently stops them from making their pushes in. Again, Lesion, you definitely see a lot of overlap here. It's the same operators, just being able to disrupt, slow down, stop people from pushing, kind of disturb the attacker's push. And that's pretty much how it's going with those. Next we've got area denial. Starting off with my good old friend Smoke over here. Just been able to completely cut off, people from pushing into certain sites. We've got Maestro, again, just being an absolute pain in the ass with his cams, giving that intel, and then also being able to deny the breaches if they're placed in correctly and hidden. We've got Goyo, being able to set off his Goyo shields and shut down an entire area for people pushing in. Again, getting herself another little badge here is Melusi. She's again just being able to shut down entire areas. It's just if the gadget's in a place and it's being protected by ADSs and you just can't get up to it, and it's just gonna make trying to push through a site an absolute fucking nightmare. Again, something that I thought that R6 didn't agree with was castle area denial. Just being able to castle off a barricade. If it turns out that they have no more gadgets to deal with it, they have to try and break through it. It's just just stalling the enemy, just not letting them get where they want to go. And feeding them into your little game. And another one for Clash, again, just slowing down people, stopping them from pushing a certain way, making them rethink how am I going to deal with this. And interestingly enough, I'm going to put this down, although it's not where it stands currently, but once Tachanka gets his rework, he will fall on that area denial with the Molly launcher. So I can't wait to see what happens with that. Next we're going to go with the breach denial, which is essentially the opposite to the hard breachers. So we're going to get mute. He also stops the drones and stuff, but can definitely mostly be used to stop some breaches. Got Bandit, of course, again, just electrifying walls, making them unbreachable. And then last but not least, K, getting the hatches, also getting walls, just trying to stop the attackers from getting into sight, pretty much. Then we got Gadget and Intel Denial. Decided to group those together because they're basically kind of similar thing. Starting off with Mute, stopping drones, again, stopping the likes of the breaches from happening. We've got the likes of Jaeger, being able to stop any kind of projectiles coming into the room, and then that falls down to also Wamai as well. Just stopping any nades, stopping any flashes coming in from disrupting defenders from their positions. Got the likes of Mozzie, capturing the drones, using the drones against them. And I'm actually going to put Warden in here as well. Kind of probably a bit unexpected, but he does deny their flashes from working, in that way. And kind of can catch the attackers off guard. Again, Vigil, being able to disrupt any kind of intel via the drones as such. And also I'm going to throw in Cav there as well. She does deny intel of not providing footsteps for the enemy to hear, I guess, in that way. And she can also gather intel by being in positions that, most defenders wouldn't be able to get into, kind of close to the attackers. And last but not least, I'm also going to throw Alibi into there, because she's going to deny, if they can't get rid of, if in a window where it's hard to see where the actual base of the Prisma is, they're not going to be able to push through that window without kind of triggering anything. They can't seem to get rid of the Prisma. And our last two kind of ones will be Doc and Rook. They essentially just provide buffs for the teams. We've got Oryx as a soft breacher, because I can't really figure out anything else to put him under. It's pretty much just what he is, a soft breacher. And then the last and most annoying of the entire group is trap operators. We've got Capcan, we've got Lesion, we've got Ella, I guess you can call us Alibi, you got Frost. And yeah, so that's pretty much kind of a quick roundup of the defenders now. So yeah, you got attackers, defenders, they all just kind of fall into essentially what type of operator they are, but then it also just comes down from that as to how you play them. So I'm looking to go further into kind of starting to break them down into the likes of the roles, because I didn't want to jump straight into entry fragger, refragger, hard support, soft support, and flex. I wanted to kind of give a general thing for the newcomers, for those that know, are still unsure. And yeah, I'm looking to kind of go into more kind of breaking down the operators themselves, breaking down the maps, kind of generally helping new people and kind of developing them more towards the competitive side of the play. Because at the end of the day, competitive Siege and just, you know, maybe even just for going into ranked, it's a million times better than just kind of sticking to quick match. And that's really where the game shines, is when you just kind of break it down in strat, and just it's a mind game more than it is a shooter. And that's why I love it so much. So yeah, guys, if you liked the video, please be sure to like and subscribe. Until next time, be awesome, stay awesome. As always, have an awesome day.